Welcome you lovely lot to my walk around, and this is for my Saturday the 14th sale here at Barons Manor Park South. We've got the sun shining, I've got my shorts on as a little treat for you, and we've also got the most amount of cars and bikes that we've ever put into this room in the entire history of the company. So thank you to everyone that's consigned with us. Well done to our amazing hard-working team under Tony. So much choice today, so I better just crack on with it because there's too many cool things. Let's start with this. I am lucky enough to own a Westphalia camper. I've got the T25, the model that came before it. This is probably, dare I say, a little bit more usable, this one. This, as you will see, is a T4 Westphalia, and if you look inside, it's a California, obviously a model they still make today, but this is a very cool 1993 version. Nice high mileage, it's been used, 262 kilometers. It's got an Audi 5-cylinder engine with a 5-speed manual gearbox, a very groovy interior, and a good service history. Imported from Germany, so it's a left-hand drive if you flick round and look at the front there. And it's got a great bed at the bottom, it's got a bed in the roof, so it seats 4 in absolute comfort. And these things will pile up and down the Autobahn or to your local campsite with pleasure. Pop roof as well. I can't stress enough the quality of the Westphalia conversion. It was the only one that was officially approved originally by Volkswagen. Although they let other coach builders come in later on, it was only Westphalia that got the tip from the factory. And if you look at things like the under-seat storage, the quality of the runners, it's by far the most hard-wearing, most clever interior. So good documentation, service history from 2012, some various MOTs, and even the original German manuals. If you want to practice your German, you can. Bodywork is actually very, very good because you do have to watch for corrosion on these. I would say that's probably a non-standard colour. You can see it's just starting to go, look. Just starting to go around the bottom of the screen. To get that done, do you know what? It's really quite straight. £5,000 to £6,000 you could be smoking around in that. Also very groovy in the Volkswagen scene. So there is a massive air-cooled and water-cooled Volkswagen scene, of which you'll be most welcome in that. Or just use it as a camper. But either way, £5,000 to £6,000, that can be yours. And I can guarantee, having had just many, many wonderful holidays in my Westphalia, that's 5 or 6 grand well spent. And the other thing I guarantee you, if you put 5 or 6 grand into it, it will never be worth less than 5 or 6 grand, even if you pile another 50,000 miles on. Moving on to this, the Jaguar XJ Executive. I've come down in my old Jag today. There is nothing like an old Jag for eating up the motorway miles. And this one is no reserve, ladies and gentlemen, because it's a higher mileage car, 198,000 miles. It's got the all aluminium body being the 350, just ready to go. And I keep saying, don't I? And I do sound like a stuck record. And I give you no apology for that. Don't drive a lease car. Don't put £400 or £500 into a modern car that you'll rent and never own. Buy a price range modern classic, and let me open the door for you, and smoke that up and down and said, I can't open the door for you. Now, if you look, the paint, there's some crazy crazing on the paint. That's not great at all. This one's really gone, look. All the lacquer's come off. So she's a fixer-upper, she's a project. But it drives well, it presents nicely inside, and a good interior, but there's definitely money to spend on the exterior. Mechanically, it's good. Good service history. The stamps go up to 178,000, and it's got an MOT until March 2026. So this could be the bargain of the sale. And being a diesel, I would say a very, very usable car that you could probably smash another 50,000 miles on. I would just leave the paint as is. Have it as a proper hack. Something to be said for having a cool old Jag in a condition that's not perfect, that you can use, leave anywhere, park anywhere. That'll probably do 50 miles to the gallon. And it's an XJ. What's not to love? Even like the colour, which panels are painted in that colour. Some of them have no paint on at all. My iPad is deciding to be very temperamental, so bear with me, team. Here you go. Right, how can I not mention this with great love? Saab LPT 900S light pressure turbo. So everyone knows Saab did a full fat turbo, 175 horsepower, bigger diameter turbo. Great car, a little bit laggy. So what they came up with was the turbo for the every person and a light pressure, smaller diameter turbo running at a lower boost pressure. And dare I say, probably more drivable car, these actually. This is a very nice 1993. Why I like the 93 cars, nerdy detail, and I'll show you later why this is important, is the late cars, and we're getting towards the end of the run out, have this fabulous spoiler that goes all the way from the spoiler at the back and runs all the way down to the A-pillar. It looks much more finished to me, whereas the earlier cars stop about there. So LPT, it's had a lovely new roof, which is not a cheap item. Someone has spent a lot of money putting a mohair roof, heated glass back window, of course, on these. And if you've never seen one of these, they are really quite practical. Paint's got a little bit of delacquering to contend with. Nice spare wheel in the boot. Looks like a few spares and bits and pieces in there as well. The leather's not bad. And this colour is Scarabi green, which is a lovely, lovely colour. And those wheels are off a 94 model year, 9,000 euro for you Saab nerds out there. Good set of records, new catalytic converter, new roof as I mentioned, the electric windows all work. The ignition works, but you don't need to be in reverse, so imagine the reverse lockout is not working. It is a manual as well, so have a look in there if you can see. So it's a nice, nice place to be. Not perfect, but then again, it's not going to be perfect money. 4.5 to 5.5 grand, 116,000 miles, and a lot of hard work done, particularly the roof. Don't underestimate how expensive it is to swap a roof properly on one of these. The rubber's getting a little bit dry, so I'd get some rubber treatment into that. Paint's pretty good, you've got a few little scratches and marks on the bonnet, but she's not immaculate money. You could buy that, as I say, 4.5 to 5.5 grand. Have a look on eBay, that's about 700-800 because with the wheels there. I like that a lot. We've estimated that, as I say, at 4.5 to 5.5. Great car, great colour, some lovely sensible upgrades, including the 16-inch wheels, and I like that very much. Now this next car I would like to buy myself. I really would. I'm not going to because I have no money this month, I've spent it all. But you could be the lucky recipient of this motor car. 2001 BMW 330 Estate. Why should you buy this? Well, it's an E46, which I think is one of the prettiest 3 Series. The other thing is it's a touring, which again, can you find a more handsome estate car than this? I think it's hard to do that. But the other thing is it's the full fat 3 litre straight 6 petrol automatic. So in terms of waftability, you will not find a car that's more waftable than this. Very nice, 46,000 miles. Car's on the table, the initial history is missing. So prior to 2015, there's a gap in the car's history, which suggests to me it's been somewhere else, maybe in another country. So do some digging. After 2015, it's got a great history, but we have a gap. We have a gap in the history. So 46,000 miles is showing. I would say that looks genuine, but please do check for yourself because the interior looks very, very nice. It drives beautifully, as you'd expect. Paintwork's nice, interior is nice. Lots of history, good service folder. Last dated November 2024 at 45,000 miles and loads of MOTs. But this is the thing about an old E46, just look. Huge boot. So we talk about practical classics, don't we? We talk about vehicles that we can use every day, that fit in with a family life. We can put kids and dogs and all sorts of fun things in. That is it. That is the car you want. And guess what? 4.5 to 5.5 grand. That is a price range that you're going to be hearing a lot today. If you've got about £5,000 to spend on a classic and you're roughly in the Southampton area or have access to the internet, this is the sale for you because almost everything in the sale is about between £5,000–6,000. Now we're going to pass this one. I think this one may be sold, but Tony's parked it there anyway. Moving on to this. Do you want an absolute project? Do you want barn find kudos? Well, here it is. Straight out the barn, de-lacquered. I'm in a great state of mind to leave this exactly as it is. Look at it, it's fantastic, isn't it? So as you can probably see, it's a 928S, it's an 82, full Tom Cruise spec, and it's a manual. So that's why it wants saving. That's why we should all be getting very, very excited because suddenly the 928 has become popular and trendy and interesting. Everyone's realised it's a very good car. They're nearly all automatic, but not this one. So it's green with green, look at that. Can you get a more 80s colour than that? So it's a proper barn find, it's a 5-speed manual. A really good chance to buy a car that never comes up. So that's moss green on the outside, it's mint green on the inside, so it's a very rare colour combination. True period piece this. Now I think you could possibly make a few quid. If you're a restorer or a painter or a Porsche specialist, I think there is the makings of a 30k car in that. You're probably going to have to put about 20k into it to do it. But it's pretty decent, the body's good. There's a little bit of corrosion just starting around the back window here. Just starting to go. It's got the earlier spoiler on the back and the earlier backlights, being an 82. But you don't find that many for sale anywhere anyway, particularly a manual. And that has got potential written all over it. It's got massive bills written all over it as well. But if that is your game, or actually just get it running beautifully and leave it patinated, I'd imagine there's a lot to be said for doing that. Very, very cool. Again, 4.5 to 5,500 pounds. Well, how about this Daimler Sovereign? The definition of old money. If a Jaguar is too common for you, or you prefer the fluted grille of the Daimler, that has to be a lovely way to travel. British Racing Green. It's a running restoration this, so she's not perfect, though she is very, very presentable, I have to say. But there is value you can add and jobs you can do. But have a look in there, look. Imagine wafting to the car show in this. Family inside. Let me open the door for you and have a look in there, look. Isn't that fabulous? 4.2, it feels solid and dry as well. So it's a nice entry point in classic motoring. It's got the 4.2, but it's not been used for some time. So the paintwork is very good and very presentable. It's not perfect though, there's a few little blisters and bits and pieces. Again, it's lovely inside, but it's a running resto, as I say. So there are jobs to do, a little bit of recommissioning to be had. So don't buy that thinking you can just drive it around. You will need to get it into the workshop and check her over. But I have to say, it's a very tidy, very presentable car. Back seat looks lovely. There's an interesting market this, because at the moment, 60 Jaguar, and this is a 69, this one, this 60 stuff is really softening off, so the prices have never been more attractive. Guess what this one is? 4.5 to 5.5 grand. Very common reserve on, or guide price on these lots today. I just think there's never been a better time to buy one. You could argue that why would you buy a descending market, what they call a bear market, you know, cars that are going down rather than going up? Because our advice always in the classic car game is buy the ones that are appreciating. Buy the ones that are going down. You'll never get more car for your money. And it is very much a buyer's market. I do think you'll have an awful lot of fun in that. Start treating classic cars like holidays or meals, where you're never going to get all of your money back, but you are going to have a wonderful time. And there's something about 60s cars that I think have a charm all of their own. Trains in. More Jaguars. We love Jaguars here. We love Leapers on Jaguars, you know that. These are the rules in Southampton. Every XJ must have a Leaper. This one is a 2009 Jaguar XJ Sovereign V6 TDVI. It's just a lovely, lovely thing. So again, monster miles to the gallon. You get to waft around in extraordinary comfort. Look at this. So again, this goes back to my cars you should buy and save yourself £400 a month on a lease. Guess what the price is? Go on. Is it £4,500 to £5,500? Yes, it is. 96,000 miles, service history, low mileage is, well, low mileage, sort of. Low mileage for the year, I'd imagine. 10 stamps in the book, 3 former keepers, electric leather seats, and it is lovely inside. We always have a 350 XJ in here. This one is really rather decent. You can just see a little bit of scratch in there, look. So there's a few things to do to make it perfect, and the rest of the car is really rather nice. So I think you'd probably want to spend a little bit just making it lovely. I'm giving it sort of like an 8 and a bit on the outside. 4.5 to 5.5 grand, of course, because everything in this auction is. But just a really nice car. I do like these an awful lot. I've never had a 350. I'm more of a 300, 308 man. But that's in a lot of ways. The 350 drives nicer. They are, of course, aluminium, so they're a little bit lighter. Dynamically, you get a good one and you keep it running well. They're a fabulous thing. And don't they look an awful lot of car for the money? As I say, 4 something, 5 something, you'll be taking that one home, driving that as your daily, and winning at life. I think to own that with a 5 grand hole in your bank account rather than 500 quid a month for 36 months. Do the maths, come on. Another Porsche dragged out of a barn for you to save and added value to. Now, I had a 944 S2 convertible, and do you know what? It was one of the best Porsches I've ever owned. They're not massively fast, 3 litre, 4-cylinder. At the time, biggest displacement per cylinder of any car on sale. So yeah, 4 pot, but 3 litre. So that's, 750cc per cylinder. Big old engine, but very torquey, very grunty, and a lot of fun to drive. Now this one, as you can see, we're calling this a barn find project. Expect to get poor and dirty fixing this one up. It needs all the paint doing, although it's not very rusty. It's just starting to go on the bottom of the wings like they all do. Just starting to go on the sills. To be fair, it's very rusty there. There you go. I can literally put my finger through that. So it is very rusty on the bottom, quite nice on the top. So expect to do the bottom 4 inches of the car to do it properly. Ran when parked, that classic saying. It ran when parked, sir. Look inside. If TV had a smell, you would be smelling it now. So sought after rare model, the potential is there. Again, I would say if you want to do this economically, you are probably a bodywork repairer or painter or a Porsche specialist. But it is a desirable rare car. You don't really see many of them. Manual trans 944 S2. All the parts are there. So all the bits you need to make a restoration are there. And guess what that's estimated at? Go on, have a guess. You know. Right, next, moving on. Land Rover Series 3. I do love a Series Land Rover. I've always wanted one of these. My problem is I don't really fit in them. but maybe you do. And this is ever so nice. Come and have a look inside. Excuse the beeping in the background on our busy estate. Tax and MOT exempt this one because she's an 82, well looked after, registered as historic. That's on the V5. So in theory, you could drive this into London every single day and not pay a penny in ULEZ, which is funny, or MOT it. It was fitted with lap belts in November 25, which is a good idea. It's a very nice condition. It's been garaged for a long time, which is why the bodywork is in such lovely condition. So the gearbox was refurbished in 2019. New clutch was fitted at the same time. It's had 7 owners. And I just think it looks right. Do you know when you look at an old Land Rover, some of them are over-restored, some of them are battered and not loved. I mean, you can see here, if you look, a lot of this paint is brush painted. So it is authentic. It's not a concours vehicle, but what it is a very nice 10-yarder, and it just sort of sits right. It looks credible, believable. I would say all of this bottom half is brush painted, all of this side here, literally, you can see. So you might want to add a little bit of value and make it nicer there. But it runs well, it drives well, the paperwork's in order. It's the classic Land Rover colour combination. And this is a very smart and level little thing that you could make nicer if you wanted to, or just leave as is. You can see where they've brush painted it, look, they've gone over the window rubbers. Don't do that. Use masking tape. And you already know the price, I don't need to tell you. £4,500 to £5,500. I don't know if they've done this as a joke, but it really is quite funny. Right, we have to go up now. The next car is more than £4,500 to £5,500. We're going £6,500 to about £8,000 because we're now into Bentley territory. This is my little millionaire's row look, my 10 bob millionaire's row. If you want to look like you've got a load of money, but you're on a strict budget, these are the cars for you. These are the cars that I would personally buy. I do love a Bentley. They're just so magical. Have a look at this. This is the Turbo R, of course, and this is in the I've Just Won the Pools Gold, 1993. 83,000 on the Odo, a really nice example. Love the colour combination, very old money. Bentley service history and a Bentley stamp service book. Full history, superb. 32 years old, it's still looking good. MOTs that verify the mileage, loads of invoices that show the previous work, and that metallic sand which just looks exquisite. Drives beautifully, this car as well. And it was the Turbo R that really saved Bentley. Of course, the Continental came along and did it again at a later date. This was a car, Bentley were known for making boring versions of Rolls Royces until this car came along and changed the game. All of a sudden you had a car that could compete with something sporty, but was like a mobile boardroom inside. And they sold a ton of them. They are becoming, I think, incredibly desirable, this shape, because of sort of the pop culture cool. That one I like a lot, but the next one, if I can be totally honest with you, I like even better, despite the fact it's cheaper. It's a Mustang turbo, and what I love about this is the interior, which does need some work spending on it. Come and have a look at this. You've got this amazing leather velour combo, so I adore the green, but look inside. I want to buy this car so much. Have a look at the wood as well, which is in a bit of a state, so you are going to need to spend some money getting that re-veneered. But what's nice is, it's only the lacquer that's peeling off. What you're left with underneath is in very, very good order and isn't too dry. So I can give you the number of some very good wood people who would make short shrift of that. But certain cars have an X factor with their appearance, and I think the interior of this one is really doing it for me. 91,000 miles. They only made 498 Mustang turbos. For that reason, I think you really want it. Standard wheelbase car. This is the last year they were produced. 50% increase in power over the standard car in these. And just a really nice thing. Got a lovely luxurious feel. It's got that half leather, which you don't see very often. And a light recommissioning and a light bit of work to do. To me, this is the one. I don't know why. That, you could argue, because of the history, it's probably the better car to buy. But certain cars call to you, and there's something about the colour of this, the fact you could do a little bit of value with the wood. And guess how much it is? £4,500 to £5,500. Which I do think is a lot of Bentley for your money. Now, which car would I take home myself out of these three? You know me, I'm a contrary Mary. As much as I love a Bentley, everybody's got one. But what they haven't got is a 1990 Cadillac Fleetwood. You could probably argue when you look at it, you can understand why. But to me, this is awesome. What I love about this is 1990. So imagine what we were doing with interiors over here in Europe. And look at what they're doing in America, look, on old Cadillac. This might as well be the interior of a 1970s car. Look at that, it's absolutely hilarious. It's so chintz, it's brilliant. Isn't that a fantastic car? Brand new MOT, kept in a garage, really nice on the body this one, and a low mileage. Now the latest MOT advise minor oil leaks, which I will call self-undersealing, but you might want to pay attention to those. It runs and drives really well, although my lovely team tells me that the starter motor is getting a little bit lazy. But our wonderful vendor has put a new starter motor in the boot, so give yourself a Sunday and a couple of spanners, and then you can put a new starter motor on. The power door locks are not working, which is obviously part of the appeal of a big old jank, so you need to fix that too. Imported from Japan in 2004, that explains the beautiful condition, because I'm looking at the edges of the seals, the arches where I would expect corrosion. I am seeing none. Look at all this around here where you'd expect a plethora of bubbles. It's none. Look at that. Look how clean she is on the body. 4 UK owners since it's been over here, and always garage kept. It's been in storage for 12 years prior to that, but had a full recommissioning. So tiny oil leaks to sort. You've got to get that starter motor on there. But look at it. Isn't it brilliant? I mean, the Bentley's awesome. But this, I just think, because it's different and no one else has got one, you'll soon get used to the left-hand drive. I love the colour. If I wasn't skint this month, I'd be taking that home. Absolutely adore it. Hey, guess how much it is? Go on. You know, £4,500 to £5,500. And my iPad is being silly again. So talk amongst yourselves while I pull up the next car. Here we go. Somewhere in here is the next car. It is, as you can tell, a beautiful Volkswagen Touareg TDI. Probably, I would say, of all the cars we've got today, ultimate family car and tow car. So if you are a caravanner, if you've got a race car to tow, if you've got little people in your life who like to yacht or canoe and you've got something you need to stick on a hitch, I don't think for the money you'll get anything better than this. They are really nice inside. Have a look at this. Great colourway again, actually. Another green with green, which is one of my favourite things in the world. 125,000 miles on this. Full electric seats. It's a 6-speed manual, so it is the ultimate tow car, this one. Owned by a lady who had exceptional taste to order it in Cypress Green. Just drives really, really well and gets really decent MPG on this. Service history, old MOTs, the original handbook. It's had new rear drive shaft couplings, new alternator, new battery. It's just been looked after. You know, some of these look a little bit scruffy and tired. This one doesn't. There are a few bits to do. Let me point those out to you. Let me tell you, you can just see a few little scuffs there, look. She's kissed a gate post or something similar, so get your smart repairman on that. 250 quid will make that like new. Around the back, I did notice a couple of little tiny bits. A couple of tiny little bits on the bumper. Would you care? I don't know. I think the car's that nice. I probably would. And look, she's ready to go. Tow the caravan. Tow the race car trailer. And normally at this point, I tell you how much it is, but I don't need to. You already know. Moving on to this. Porsche Cayenne 3.2 V6. A very similar confection, obviously, and some crossover parts. These are just astonishing value now, aren't they, these? Absolutely astonishing value. So much car for the money. Can you believe that's a 20-year-old vehicle? If you can look past the headlights, which were considered a bit controversial at the time, I think they've kind of grown into their look, these vehicles. Excuse the noise in the background, they're building things. 114,000 miles on this. Come in and have a look. So it's black with black, classic combination. It's in lovely condition, this. And in there, look, you will see a lovely world of automatic gearbox with a Tiptronic on the wheel. An MOT till March 26. It's been stored and unused for 5 years, but it drives beautifully. There's a recent service which had spark plugs, brake pads front and rear, and a new tyre. So do you know what? That is a nice bus. Paintwork's very good, actually, I have to say. If you're looking for a price range Cayenne, it is the petrol, so it's going to be a little bit thirstier than the diesel, but I just don't think you'll care. So there you go, lovely, lovely thing. From what I can see, very nice condition. Do come and have a look at that. If you are looking for one, I like that a lot. And again, the price, 4.5 to 5.5 grand. Right, we've moved inside now, and look at this. Now, this is back in the sale. You'll recognise this if you're a regular follower. I think this is utterly, utterly epic. And I was lucky enough to see these being built in period. I went to the factory in Las Vegas, and they really are quite the machine. They're a very, very fast car. It's a 2007 Mustang Shelby GT500 Coupe. It's a really nice car. This is very straight and level. Tiny little bit you could do. Like if it was mine, I'd refurb the alloys, make them absolutely perfect. But it's only done 56,000 miles. It is a genuine papered Shelby. That's the 5.4, the 32 valve, supercharged. Now, as standard, these were 450 brake. We believe this is a little bit more than that. So it's quite quick. It makes the most wonderful noise. And the supercharger wind on these is incredible. And of course, it is manual. I do think, and particularly if you look at the prices of the original Shelbys, I think that's got to be money in the bank. I think you could buy that for £23,000 to £25,000. I think you could spend £1,000 on it, making it a really exceptional motor car. And I think you'd then have a car that will easily be a 40, 50k car in 5 to 10 years, just because they are the real deal. The Shelby name really carries some cachet. I do think this is one of the coolest Mustang shapes they did. And there's just a lot of kind of pop culture history. There are a lot of films. Top Gear did a very good thing with these in. Great car, 23 to 25 grand. Somebody needs to buy that. We've had quite a bit of commission interest this time. So if you are interested, do jump on the phone and give us a call, because I think that one will go. Now, the best colour for a Bentley Continental is this colour, don't you think? A lot of the press cars are in this colour. I actually am lucky enough to have some original Bentley banners hanging up in my workshop from the launch of the Continental. It's this colour. You always know that if the press department orders a car or specs a car in a certain colour, it is, in the opinion of the design team, the marketing team, the one that makes it the easiest to sell. So this is a 2004, unbelievably, ladies and gents, that is a 21-year-old car that looks about 5 years old, doesn't it? That's the beauty of this, the Continental GT. I've got friends that have got one of these. They're just incredible cars. Beautiful shape. Going to be very price rangy, this, because it's done 130,000 miles, but it's got a brand new MOT, great service record, and the last service was in 2025. Let me open the door for you. Let me show you what all the fuss is about. This is why we love the Continental GT so much. So this beautiful green paintwork is really nice. There's an odd little scratch on the offside door. Just a great high days and holidays car. I wouldn't say you probably want to drive this every day, just because it'd be so expensive, but just for those moments where you want to treat yourself, and it really is in lovely condition, lovely history, paintwork's in fabulous condition, tiny little bit of what feels like tree sap on the bonnet. I would probably get that mopped and polished, because the wings are very, very clean. I think it's been parked outside. That's a bit of fallout and contaminant on there. But yeah, £7,000 to £10,000, that could be yours. Don't be scared by the mileage. Just find yourself a good specialist. Keep on top of the maintenance. And don't forget, with these Bentleys as well, a lot of the parts cross over to things like Touareg and Phaeton parts. So if you can find the aftermarket service parts, you can run these for a lot less than you think with a good specialist. Now, these are the car I would very much like to have in my collection. I had an E32 750 IL. This is obviously the later 2005 760 IL, and it is true limo. It's the only word to describe it. If you're looking for something that you can waft around in, or you want to take the kids in luxury, come and have a look. Come and have a look at the back of this, because the IL, the L denotes the long wheelbase. So a lot of these were ordered for people to sit in the back rather than the front, because the idea of the IL is that you, as your company director or VIP superstar, you get to sit in the back with your console, your rear electric seats. Now, this was registered in 2005. It's virtually one owner. I think it's demo plus one. It's an 84,000 miles, this. An engine oil service was most recently carried out just a few hundred miles ago. Gearbox oil was done at both 40 and 80. Do you want to know the best bits? ULEZ compliant, this one as well. So you can take this into London and not pay the charge, or any of the cities that are ULEZ. This car has fallen between that gap. It's in lovely condition. I really would love to own this. And again, a car that could be potentially scary, but if you get a good one with a good history, as this one is, all the soft closing works. So 2 owners, full documents, low mileage, great colour with lovely paintwork. And what would you pay for that? Somewhere between 9 and 11. You could do private hire with it. You could make the kids very, very happy when you drop them off at school. There's not a lot to do. A couple of very tiny marks on the alloys. But it's a V12, it makes all the right noises. It's soft, it wafts. It's very understated, I think, this crisp angle shape. Just a nice car. I would like that very much indeed. And if you've got somewhere between 9 and 11 grand, you can have it too. Another XJ. We have them all, don't we? We love them. We just love XJs. What can we say? I'm a Jag fan. Tony's a massive Jag fan that consigns a lot of cars here. So, funnily enough, they all end up here. Now, this is a 2008 XJ Executive V6 Auto. It's a very nice combination, this. Full history, low mileage. It's on 59,000 miles with a full stamp book, and the last service was in 2023 at 59,900 miles. It runs well, it drives well. It was driven here. It's aired out, it's on the levelling suspension, so it's aired out at the moment, so that comes up as it starts. And if you look inside, again, just a lovely place to be. This is going to be about 7.5 to 8.5 grand. I like the colourway very much. Light metallic bluey grey with a tan interior. Low owner count, low mileage count. The reason that we always try and get these Jaguars in, they're just such a nice way to travel. Doesn't really matter which one you get, the 300, the 308 or the 350. This, like the one outside, this is the aluminium body. A bit more sophisticated. It really was a technical tour de force when they made this car. Nobody could quite believe that they did it. So you're buying a huge amount of technology. And what's interesting as well is Jaguar themselves are committed to keeping these cars on the road. I was at Jaguar Classic the other day and they were so chuffed with themselves, and rightly so, because the S-Type, the later S-Type, not the original one, which uses a plastic expansion tank, because a few people were having problems with it, they actually retooled to make that tank. And you'll find with all of this period of cars, Jaguar, despite what the press tells you, is really interested in keeping their heritage alive. And they're making more and more parts available through the Jaguar Classic scheme to keep these wonderful old cars on the road. So buy that, and I think, again, good specialist will keep you out of trouble with that. Now, one of the cars I love, because I was obsessed with them as a child, and I'm lucky enough to have both a Bentley T1 and a Shadow 2, is this shape of roller. The reason being, whenever you saw anybody in the late 70s, unfortunately including quite a few people that were investigated for things we shouldn't talk about, they all had Rolls-Royce Silver Shadows. It was basically, as soon as you won the pools, got your BBC contract, whatever it was, you just went out and bought yourself one of these because they just look so good. They're also massive. I was cleaning my Bentley T1 the other day, hashtag first world problems, and you realise they're an enormous car. Even by modern standards, they are a big old bus. This is lovely. I love the colour. Light metallic brown, which of course has come right back in fashion again. 77 Silver Shadow. Why do you want this car? Well, I like the early Shadows. If you look inside, they have a beautiful simplicity and sort of a timeless appeal. 135,000 with service stamps in the book. Mechanically sound car. Recent work carried out includes brake calipers and rear pads. There's a number of invoices, loads of old MOTs. It's been well maintained. Now, the bodywork is solid, but as you can see, if you look down here, look. You can see it's been painted up to the rubber, which means an inexpensive paint job. And you can just see it starting to bubble through in a few places. So is it rotten? Not really, but you are going to have to start chasing a few little bits. But because of that, bearing in mind the top of this market can be 25, 30 grand, she's price rangey. She's £6,500 to £8,000, which I think is a very, very pretty car in a beautiful colour. You can see here, look, you can see sort of delacquering. If you want it to be mint, you are going to have to put some paint on it, and you'll learn when you paint an old Rolls Royce, they are big, they need a lot of paint. Or just kind of keep it as it is, just keep it gently scruffy and enjoy it. I think I'm going through the period in my life now, I actually like to keep cars tidy, presentable, but 5-yarders. Not perfect. You get just as much fun out of them, but you don't worry about little dents, which this has one on the wing there. Great, isn't it? Lovely car. Now this, for my money, this would be the one, the Bentley Arnage with factory roof, I noticed as well. Now this, Molly was just telling me, our wonderful Molly here, she was provenancing the car, because obviously sometimes the cars come in, the history's really easy, sometimes we have to do a little bit of detective work. Molly has gone through this, and there is a service for every year that the car has been owned. So it's actually beautifully maintained. I don't know if you can see the colour on the screen, it's like this gorgeous sort of petrol-esque, very, very non-more 90s metallic blue. It's the early lights which I prefer. They did a facelift later to make it look like the more sand. This is the original light. I would get those corrected, but they look fantastic. 112,000 miles. Now, if you look inside, just look at that. It's a fantastic place to be. It's so 90s. So I have the Arnage T, the Mulliner, which is a great thing. And I tell you what, you know, in terms of wafting about and feeling a little bit special, nothing touches them. And particularly for the money, this is estimated at 6 to 7. And can you think, I mean, that's almost banger money, isn't it? £6,000 to £7,000. It's ridiculous. To drive around in something of this provenance, and also bodily, it's really good. You can see this, as I imagine, as the original coach line. It's just starting to age out a little bit. So there's a few things you could do. That's sitting on the top rather than in the lacquer. So you could actually mop that out. I think that's an original line, but it's been put on afterwards. It wouldn't take a lot to make that an exceptionally nice car. The car's described as being good in all areas, with a couple of areas that need improvement. The paintwork's good. A little bit of rust on the front offside wheel arch. Let's have a look at that. That's near side. What are you doing? That's offside. There you go, just there, look. A little bit there. So save up your pennies to do that. Bit of a lack of peel on the wood and a broken driver's window switch. But it's very nice. It's got a lovely history folder with many invoices, as we've discussed. I don't think you'll get a nicer Bentley per pound than that one. You could spend probably, I don't know, 1,500 quid making it super nice. And I would, because it's a nice car. I see a little tiny bubble on the door. But I like the colour, I like the trim. It'll be the BMW engine for that, which is no bad thing. Makes them cheaper to look after. What a lovely way to travel for under £8,000. Now this is a stunning and exceptionally rare motor car, this. We've got this back in again with a lower reserve. I just don't think you'll ever find this car again. This is the Daimler Hooper Empress, this one, 1953. And if you can squeeze through and come and have a look at this, just come and look inside. So the Arnage is a gorgeous thing, but this, we are now talking true coach built, as in one-off. Men with files and hammers, blocks of wood, creating an absolutely unbelievable car, because normally these are not a two-door. So 1953, the rare chance to own one of only two two-door saloons ever made with the Empress body, originally supplied by Hoopers to Stratstons of Mayfair. The car's been saved from being scrapped, and this is a 20-year restoration, this one. Just an astonishing thing. We've got photographs, we've got so much history with this car, so much time and money has been spent, because as I've said, it's one of two. Incredibly rare. The paintwork is lovely, and it's sort of patinated beautifully. It is not perfect. If you're going to enter it into concours, you will need to spend a little bit of prep time on it, but it's exceptionally clean. It really is. And I do think, because it's so rare and what it is, you'll have a lot of people giving you the nod. What could it be? It could be your wonderful Sunday car. It would certainly be fantastic with weddings, despite it being a two-door. You will have to fold the bride into the back. But when have you last seen one? Very, very rare, very special. As I say, lots of photos, lots of letters discussing the car and provenancing the car, 2 original logbooks, the original handbook, and even a couple of photos on the advert. So the invoices in the history, there's just so much stuff. As I say, logbooks, handbooks, photos, the whole 9 yards. 28 to £35,000 to put yourself into that beautiful motor car. It's one of those things, if you do want one of these and you do want a two-door, this is probably your only chance. And I've always said that, if you see a car at auction that you think you want, even if you have to massively stretch or even get finance to buy it, if you can, do it, because when you want it, it'll never be there again. And ask me how I know. 1951 Land Rover Series 1. They just look so good, don't they? Series Land Rovers are always good news. We know that there's always a market for them. I think condition-wise, for me, this could not be more perfect. It's very presentable. It's obviously had a lot of new rivets and fixings on, but the paintwork's patinated down to just a gorgeous level. So it's extremely tidy. As it looks on screen, it's probably how it is in real life, I would imagine. And just look at this on the bonnet, look. Could that be any more perfect? Look how that's just patinating out there. Ex-military, and it's retaining its original army registration. Was recently inspected by military enthusiasts, and it's found to be 98% original. So hardly anything on this vehicle has been changed from how it was spec'd by the MOD. Presents well. There's a few minor non-original things. So you've got non-original screws, stainless rivets instead of aluminium, modern relays. So if you want to make it absolutely 100%, there is value you can add. There are jobs you can do. The engine mounts are okay. The steering box needs adjusting. There's a few oil drips because it's an old Land Rover, of course. I love whoever's done this description. It's very honest. We need more of this. Aluminium bulkhead, which is nice. The surface rust is present, but I'll clean that off. The chassis is very good. The instrument cluster are all original. So it's just a nice thing. So it's almost as it should be. And it is in probably like the nicest patinated condition you could possibly hope for, which I would not touch. I would not touch a thing on that. Maybe just sort that minor oil leak out, adjust that steering box up, and just enjoy. Isn't that fantastic? What would you pay for that? £14,000 to £16,000. There you go. Now, a car that I can vouch for, as I think the bargain, everybody raves, quite rightly, about the Mazda MX-5. Mazda MX-5s are utterly brilliant, and we do get them in from time to time, and they always sell, because who doesn't want a sporty roadster? May I suggest, above that, a 2.8 manual Z3. This is the narrow body, because not everybody likes the wide body. I prefer the wide body. I know a lot of people like the better proportion of the narrow body. It's more svelte, it's more slimline. And this is beautiful. 2000 BMW Z3 Road, a 2.8 manual. The one you want. The one you want. The one that will do skids if you want it to. Great colour, beautiful metallic blue. With these seats, which I can't imagine would have been a standard order. I think that's an individual interior. I think somebody spent some money. It's a topaz blue, blue leather, grey soft top. What a colour combination. 5-speed manual, the 2.8 straight 6, which is the definitive BMW engine of the 90s, isn't it? The wheels are in nice condition with the stainless steel outers. 79,000 miles with a substantial service history. And I just can't tell you how much fun these are. So we've got one of these in the fleet and they are just utterly bonkers. They make the best noise, a bit easier to skid than a Mazda MX-5. And that fabled engine, if you put an exhaust, like a stainless steel exhaust on one of these, it will just be the only roadster you ever need. And they are surprisingly large, even for me. I fit in here. It's got the larger roll hoops on this, which is very, very safe. And as far as I can see, it's just lovely on the body. Really is a very, very pretty car, that. I would like that. You could have that for £5,000 to £6,000, and there is very little to pick up or fault that car on. She's ready for the summer. Or, if you want to, these are quite a thing on track. Put some decent tyres and brakes on, though. Quite a thing on track. Being the manual, you row it up and down. And with the grey roof, I think it just looks fabulous. Right, this is back in. Low reserve. This is your chance to buy probably the best one I've seen in a long, long time. This, as you can tell, 1989 MG Metro. And yes, for all those wondering, it does have the red seatbelts, which, as we all know, when we all saw those in the 1980s, we lost it when we saw those red seatbelts. Might as well have landed from outer space. 40,000 miles with low owners, low mileage, a great history and a great service history. 3 previous owners, and we can see from all the amazing provenance with this that 39,282, that is the legit mileage. Runs well, drives well, so it's original little wheels. It's got a brand new genuine front painted bumper and brand new suspension sphere. It's got an April 26 MOT. And just loads of history, loads of stamps. It's just super nice. It's not perfect. You can see the wheel trims will need redoing. They've just been gently scuffed. There's the odd little mark on the bumper corners. It's real, it's genuine. But I think you could probably spend, what, 400 quid, 450 quid in a paint shop, just getting those wheel trims and bumper corners done. She'd be a minter. I mean, I think it's not very hard to make this into a show quality car. And what's interesting about the BL stuff, 5-6 years ago, you couldn't give it away. But I think people now have realised it's actually quite cool. And we all had them. Like, my mum had Metros. She wanted an MG Metro. She couldn't quite afford it. Metros were part of our lives. They really were a great car. And I think stylistically, if you look fast forward to today, haven't they aged brilliantly? I think they look so good. Proportions are absolutely spot on. It was a very successful car. They sold a lot of them. And that's probably the best one I've seen. So if you do really want one, dig deep into your pocket, find £5,000 or £6,000 plus your fees, and you'll take that one away. And as you've seen, the interior is gorgeous. Now, cars that are way cheaper than they should be for how nice they are, these. People always say, what's the market doing at the moment, Paul? Generally speaking, if it's 80s or 90s, it's massively in the ascendancy. If you're looking for a 50s or 60s car, great time to buy. Because generally speaking, those prices are softening. And if you want a nice example of whatever it is you're into, there's loads of them out there for just astonishing money. Let me give you a fantastic example. This, and look at the condition of it. How beautiful is this? Look at the paintwork, which is very nice. Look at the interior, which is gorgeous. This is a 64 Triumph Herald 1200, the darling of driving schools everywhere at the time. It's everything exempt, as you might imagine. Registered as historic, ready to drive with a large history file. But what would you pay for this these days? Somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5 grand. They're just not a dear car. The paintwork is great. You can just see there's a few little areas here which you can either live with or you might want to improve as you go. That would be the easiest colour in the world, that cream, to blow that in. Very cheap and easy to do. Betty, as she's known, been very well looked after by the vendor, having a lot of work carried out. Everything's been written down by our lovely vendor as what they've done. Respray was carried out 4 years ago. Repairs on the engine and gearbox around 2018. Never broken down, never failed the owner, always done exactly what it wants to do. And these Triumph Heralds are fantastic. If you're looking for a starter classic, which you can get all the bits for, are really easy to work on because you can flip the whole front up and literally access everything, the entire front, including the wings. There isn't a classic car in the world that's easier to work on than a Triumph Herald. And if you want to, you can take the whole front off. It really is that simple. I think they're utterly charming. We did one on the show, and they also drive so well. They've also got one of the tightest and tiniest turning circles of any classic car. They're like London taxi levels of turning circle. They're brilliant. Slightly sketchy rear suspension setup, so if you're looking for a car that's super fast in the corners, it's probably not this one, but why would you want to go super fast in this? Just cruise along, your little 1200 singing away, arrive at the classic car show to smiles and waves, and a real just lovely pride of ownership thing that I think you'll have an awful lot of fun with. And for 4.5 to 5.5 grand, why would you not? Now this is back in, and please buy this so I don't. I don't know what it is about this MGA, and I said this the last time it was in. I don't think I've ever seen a car, perhaps apart from that Land Rover, that's patinated so perfectly. I've never wanted to touch a car less than this in terms of how it looks. The condition of this paintwork to me is utter perfection. It's just sort of satined off, and there's just little bits. It looks like it's old repaint from a long time ago that's just been left, and I couldn't like it more. In fact, if anything, because the boot was obviously painted at a later date, I would actually slightly flat the boot off. This is a 59 MGA, so again, everything exempt. And there's just something about the way it looks and the way it sits. 95,000 miles, had a full engine service carried out. Now, restoration was carried out in 2024, but quite wisely, they didn't touch the paintwork. See what I mean about this boot look? I would actually flat that off. But I said this last time, I would probably patinate out a couple of old racing door circles so it looks like a club racer from the 60s. It would be amazing. So it's had 2 front shockers, a carburetor overhaul, an engine rebuild, new piston rings, crankshaft bearings, a cylinder head overhaul, new water pump. So she's ready to go. It was imported from America in 2015 and had a previous restoration in that time, including many new parts. So what you've got here is a car that looks slightly scruffy, but where it counts mechanically, nothing to do. And the best thing about this, going back to what I was saying, 50s and 60s cars at the moment, it's very much a buyer's market. If you want to buy yourself a beautiful car like this, it's going to cost you 11 to 13 grand. It wasn't that long ago, that was probably a 25 grand car. Great time to buy, really is. And can you think of any more fun you'd have than in that? Just adorable car, really is. Now this is a very similar thing, slightly later, just as British, a little bit more plastic, TVR S3. Now this has got the Granada 2.9 engine in it, and my word, I won't start it for you now, this makes the best noise. All TVRs sound good. This one, I don't know what exhaust setup they've put onto it, because obviously it's a non-standard engine. Probably one of the best sounding TVRs I've ever heard. It's rude, it's the only word to describe it. If you have neighbours that you get on with and you don't want to anymore, buy this. They'll hate you forever. Particularly if you start the car early in the morning, it's so loud. So don't buy this if you like quiet, retiring cars. It's not for you. If you want something that's loud, proud, makes a wonderful noise, it's this. June 2026, it's got the Cosworth Granada engine in it. It's about 230 horsepower, which is a lot more wallop than the initial V6 would have given you. And it's just a great car. The paintwork is good but not perfect. There's a few imperfections on this. But being white, you do sort of get away with it. The interior is in nice condition. The roof is just getting a little bit careworn there, so there's a little bit of work to do there. The chassis has been restored with new stainless steel side members and mountings. And this was done in 2012. So the original engine was removed and replaced with a bob out of a Cosworth Granada. That was decatalyzed, which explains the wonderful noise. The fuel system was uprated with a Walbro pump, an uprated pressure regulator, and a full stainless steel exhaust. So on the body, I'm going to give it probably about a 7. It's a little bit micro blistered. I think it's had a cover on the back. It's got the wheels off the Chimera, I would say they are, looking at those. Toyo Proxus on it. And 1,000 miles since our owner bought it. He's had 1,000 miles of fun. Maybe it's your turn. But for that wonderful symphony and all of that work, you'd only pay £6,000 or £7,000 to own that car. And also the TVR spare situation. So I work with a company called Motorclan. There is nothing for this S-Series that you can't get anymore. They have all the spares on the shelf, all the old racing green stuff, all the TVR factory stuff, all still available. So a very easy car to maintain and look after once you've bought it. And of course the rest of the stuff is all Ford bits. Now looking up to the ramp, we might want to go onto the stairs and have a look at this. This is back in. Now this is obviously a huge vehicle, so unsurprisingly, not gone yet, because you need a very big garage or driveway to house this vehicle. So this is a 76 Ford F250, completely restored, very nice bodywork, runs and drives beautifully. Again, a car that sounds fantastic. So it's always been a good runner, but it's had a full restoration, but it's been in storage as well. So there are a couple of minor marks on it. So a few little tiny dents. 700 man-hours have gone into this truck. It's been meticulously cared for and really looked after. I say, been in storage for 9 months. There's a couple of little tiny marks on it. You've got a little bit of chrome spotting on the wheels and the engine bay, and a couple of tiny dents. But I don't think you'll find one of these in a better condition for this kind of money. We've estimated that at 18 to 21. And what is nice about it being on the ramp, if you want to have a look underneath, look how lovely it is underneath. So if you're expecting a rusty horror, no, and I would say it's had a new tank. If you look underneath, I can see a new tank under there. So obviously retained and repaired regardless of expense, which is exactly how we like them. So 18 to 21. Now, one of my favourite cars in the auction, shouldn't have a favourite, but this is one of mine, is the Mini Mayfair. Exciting year for Minis this year. There's a few things happening in the Mini world, which I can't tell you about just yet, which I think will suddenly make Minis come to the fore. At the end of this month, expect a big announcement in the Mini world that will make people go, I wish I'd bought a Mini when Paul told me to. So don't be that person. Buy this one instead. This is a Mini Mayfair. One of my favourite spec of Minis because they are little limo. So really nice car this, with 13,300 miles, with bodywork to match. But look inside, somebody ticked the leather option. Look at that. It's like a baby Bentley. Now that mileage is verified. It's a one family owned car from new. Loads of service and repair invoices. And I said we are warranting that mileage because the car's been on Jersey, ordered with every option. You can see the walnut dash, you can see the leather. It's just a factory remote alarm, never been welded, and everywhere that Minis rot, like every seam, every gutter, scuttle edge, all the places where we know that Minis go, it hasn't. The only thing I can see, look, the tiniest bit there, which I would imagine is probably the stone tip that's gone over or it's had a screen in at some point. Just the most non-rotten Mini I've ever seen. What's interesting about Mini prices is you can spend 5-6 grand buying one that's been restored and had loads of panels. And it's a nice car. Or you could buy this one for 5 or 6 grand with a factory leather interior, and it's a Mayfair, and it's completely unwelded and unpainted. I think that would be the one. Although it has had, it does say here, I say it has a respray in 2024 because it had a replacement door. There you go. So original panels, but fresh paint. And it's very good paint, I have to say. I like that a lot. Right, moving on. Here is an Aprilia. It says 1966. I don't think for a second that's 1966. I'm going to say that's 1996. Let's say that's 1996. Aprilia off-road sports scooter. Estimated at 750 to £1,000, 8,000 on the Odo. Rare and sporty off-road scooter that's increasingly hard to find. Very good paddock scooter. If you're into motorsport and you're looking for something to ride around the paddock to go and get the chip butties for the team, that's the one. Lightweight frame, rugged style, overall fun. So just great little thing to touse the shops on. I say the perfect paddock bike, or just a cool thing. If you had a race car, imagine doing that in the race car colours, or just keep it as a collectible thing as it is. The bike needs a valid MOT, so it doesn't have one. Still a great example. Bit of off-road scooter. If you fancy one of those, that is the one for you. 750 to £1,000. Now moving on to this, another great project for you to spend your money on. As you can see, somebody's been wet flatting. There's a little bit to do, but it's the XR4i, that much you know. It looks, as far as I can tell, to be very, very complete. And the seats are actually in remarkable condition, because obviously these have a unique fabric on these XR4is. 1983, 152,000 miles. So if you are looking for a 3-door project, I think this could be the one. So no reserve, it runs, it drives, it's registered as historic, so it's MOT exempt, it's tax exempt. Original complete, it's got a sports back box, it's got a tow bar, it's got a Mark II dashboard, which is obviously for you originality purists, not the one. It's got the holy unholy parcel shelf, which is a very rare thing to find. It's got the original stereo, which doesn't work. It's got the jack cover, it's got the handbook, it's got the stereo, it's got the Haynes manual, it's got the supplement guide. It is a project car, it will need love, a lot of love. But it runs and it drives and it's complete and it's a 3-door. So I would suggest, again, and it's not absolutely hanging with rot. Obviously someone's had a go at the rear arches, I guess they put the arches in, but it's got its original plastic overs. It's got the biplane rear wing. You can see somebody's been chasing the early signs of rust. The gutters are nice. Around the sunroof has only just started to go. So I have seen a lot worse cars than this get saved. And obviously because of what they are, Very, very groovy project, I have to say. And the fact it's got the original seat fabric on there, but you get to set the price. Now, from one extreme to the other, no reserve, so you might be able to buy that for a few thousand. How about this? One of the stars of the sale, and thank you to our vendor for trusting us with this, the McLaren 650S in what has to be the best colour. Kermit green, we'll call that. Isn't that beautiful? Really nice spec on this. So 2014 car, believe it or not, that is an 11-year-old car. Haven't they aged beautifully? I think Frank Stephenson designed that. And didn't he do a good job? Now these are entering, I think, almost bargain territory now. This is between £70,000 and £75,000 to get true hypercar performance. These are beyond a supercar. These are a hypercar, these. It's the 3.8, the V8. It's got the uprated 675 seats. It's got an unbelievable maintenance record on this car as well. No expense spared. And it's just a lovely thing, isn't it? This is called Verde Mantis Green, not Kermit Green. The particular example is one of the highest spec 650S models available in the UK. And it's got a few upgrades from the 675, like these seats, which really are a bit of a showstopper if you look at them. It's got other things, including the carbon side vents, which are beautiful if you look. It's got the centre entry cover. It's got carbon paddle shifters. It's got full carbon engine bay. It's got front and rear bumpers, side vents, mirrors. Basically, the thing is covered in carbon fibre. It really is. Mechanically, the car's superb with a full history. It's just had a service. Over £8,000 has been spent on the car, looking after it. It's got the driveline dampers being done, the header tank, the transmission clutch fluid, much more. It's had new front tyres, four-wheel alignment. It's got the lightweight alloys as well with Michelin Pilot 4Ss. It's just lovely. So as I say, not a small amount of money in general, but for what it is and the condition of it and the history and all the things you want done on a McLaren. And don't be scared off by cars like this, because there are wonderful specialists. Ian Litchfield at Litchfield does an awful lot with McLarens. There's John Thorne at Thorney Motorsport. All of those people can look after these cars. It doesn't need to be a scary proposition. There's a wonderful specialist network out there that can look after these older McLarens. If you can, just come and have a look in the back here. Somebody went, yes, please, to every carbon option, and look at what that's done to the engine bay. Isn't it fabulous? Look. It's the best colour, best spec. Just like having a 675, because you've got basically all the bits off it, and just look how much carbon is on it. It's obscene. I love it. To me, there's the colour. The colour absolutely nails it for me. Right colour, right car. And talking of which, again, can you think of a better colour for an E-Type than this? Isn't this beautiful? 66 Series 1, so the prettiest of all the E-Types with the faired-in headlights, in the best colour. And this is a stunning car. This is £50,000 to £60,000, this one. The manual car, 66 model with a 4.2 all-synchro gearbox, and had a lot of work done. Come and have a look inside. The seats have patinated to perfection. There you go. So I would say spend a little bit of time adjusting the door. That probably just wants a little bit of sorting to do. So it's a desirable 66 with a 4.2. The car was off the DVLA radar until 2000, as it only had 3 owners since. It's had loads of work done, rebuilt rear cage, stainless steel exhaust, brakes, new tyres, much, much more. Have a look at the picture of the underside, it's very nice. It's got its original green logbook, it's got its JDHT certificate, and it was produced in opalescent grey with dark blue leather originally. Now it's very original looking, it's got the covered headlights, it's obviously had some paint, good looking interior, nice patina. Little bit of adjustment and just fettling to do. Again, I think you could spend a small amount of money and time making this truly exceptional. So buy it for 50, spend £5 on it. I think you'll have a return on that. I really do. I think there's the basis of a particularly nice car. The paint is very good. A couple of tiny little imperfections and fish eyes, all of which are in places I think you could wet, flat and improve. So a spectacularly nice car to which value can be added. My favourite kind. Just looks right, doesn't it? Got the X Factor. Now this, old Jaguars we love, old Jaguars with leapers, Mark II, 3.8 manual with overdrive, the bank robber's choice. And please, come and have a look at this interior. I wish you could smell this beautiful interior, look at this. Look at the condition of that. It smells like a shoe shop in there. 98,000 miles, it is of course everything exempt. Old English white, which is the best colour, with the oxblood interior. Really sound, no apparent corrosion, outstanding underneath, which is showcased in the photos. So please do look at the additional photos. Runs well, the overdrive works, the carbs have been overhauled, had a new carb kit fitted, oil filter change, it runs well, it's had new clutch master, new clutch slave, and I say, and JDHT authenticated. Just really lovely. And going back to what we were saying about how these cars have become the real bargains of the classic car world, it wasn't that long ago this would probably have been a £25,000 car in a blink. Now 14 to 18. If you're looking for an investment car, I wouldn't honestly put you into a 50s or 60s Jaguar. If you're looking for a car to enjoy, just have fun with, and have a real feel-good factor, I can't think of anything better. I really can't. And we need to stop worrying about whether we're going to make a fortune on these classic cars and just buy the stuff we like at the kind of money that we can afford. And that, to me, represents an utter bargain. So much better value than it was 5 years ago. And it's the same kind of car. Great thing to buy. Now, this next Jaguar just goes to show with our 3-stage sales process, all of our cars, obviously we're here to represent our vendors, and our vendors ask us to sell their cars for them for the most amount of money that we can. And what that includes is if people see a car in our auction listing, because of course we have the cars in so far ahead of time, people sometimes make an offer. And of course we're legally obliged to pass that on to our vendor, and our vendor then makes the decision, yes or no. And in this case, some lovely customer has offered the correct amount of money to our vendor. The vendor said yes, and that one's gone. So if you do see a car in the auction, you really, really like it, and you're quite happy to pay towards the top estimate for the car, by all means give us a bell, because we'll put you in touch with the vendor, you can thrash out a deal, and then obviously you can take it home. Now this is back in, we need to find a home for this to prevent me or our chairman Stephen from buying it, because we both mentioned that we really like it. It's just ridiculous. It's a wonderful thing, and I guarantee for sale in the UK and possibly Europe today, there won't be another one of these, and there will not be another one of these in this condition. It's ridiculous. 1976 Ford Mustang Ghia, 5-litre V8. Now, this is during what they call the Malaise era, so it makes about 3 horsepower. But it doesn't matter, because it sounds wonderful and it looks incredible. And as you'll see, as you come to the inside and come around and have a look in there, it is like new. And the reason it's like new is because it's done 12,000 miles. That is it. So this is as close to walking into a showroom 1976 and putting down your money from a Ford Mustang Ghia as it's possible to do. The other thing you'll notice is right-hand drive. And that's what makes it super, super rare, because this, ladies and gentlemen, is an original UK registered right-hand drive with only 12,000 miles. It is very brown, very veloury and very wonderful. Various odd MOTs to verify the mileage, which I don't think you really need, because just look at the condition of it. It sounds beautiful. And apart from a tiny bit of the black powder coat coming off on the radiator, it is pretty much a concours car. It's got a crack in the windscreen, which needs sorting. Very easy windscreen to get. I think it's the same as the Pinto windscreen on these. About $600 to get one of those. You'll never find another. If you like weird, quirky, wonderful old Fords, I guarantee there's not another one for sale, as I say, really in any condition in right-hand drive. And that is as near to a concours car. I say it's a windscreen and a radiator powder coat away from you being able to enter that. I don't know what weird concours would take it, but whatever it is, I would like to go to it. 1980 Vauxhall Cavalier 2-litre GL, literally the car of my childhood. I had, well, not me, I didn't have, my dad had a white 2-litre with red interior, and my entire trips to school, family holidays, caravan pulls were in one of these. They're just a brilliant car, I think, with this fantastic, I think Wayne Cherry designed the front of these. They just look better than the Opel, don't they? Great colour, very, very late 70s, early 80s colour. And actually just a very usable classic. This one's particularly nice because it's done 39,000. It's had some paint, I would wager. It's largely original. Just being upfront with you guys, this has got what I would call garage dents in it. So this to me very much looks like a car that's sat in storage for a long time. And on the bonnet and on the roof are the kind of dents you only get when people start to use it as a shelf. All of which can be taken out because the paint is very, very good. But I would budget on 200 to 300 quid with a very good dent man, and you can make this car almost daily driver, show and shine, level ready. It's got a Zybart rust proofing from new. The interior is really nice and very original. As I say, the bodywork looks to be original but repainted to me. MOT certificates going back to 84. It's recently been recommissioned with new rear brakes and brake pipes, a new fuel pump and fuel pipes, oil filter, spark plugs. It's got the owner's book, and it's just hard to find a really nice Mark 1 Cavalier. And like I say, 2-litre, they bowl along, it'll do 65, 70. They look groovy. It's got a non-original sunroof. It's an aftermarket sunroof, which I don't dislike. If you were going to make it absolutely perfect, you could always put a roof skin in if you wanted to. So get those dents taken out, give it a polish. You have got there for 5.5 to 6.5 grand. A very lovely car. Now at the top of the film, we had a T4 camper. If you want to go a little bit cuter, a little bit cuddlier, how about a T2, bay window? This is very nice because it's an early bay. So you get the lower indicators, the cuter front, the smoother bumpers. And if I can open this up for you, can you imagine your family holidays in there? Look at that, it's even got the high security lock, so when you're sleeping, no one's going to come and do anything to you. 1972, 60,000 miles, which I imagine is probably 160,000 miles, or 60,000 since its rebuild. Had 3,000 miles on the rebuilt engine, new clutch, front shock absorbers, 2 tyres. Was resprayed in 2013, which is good, so it's 12-year-old paint. And I've got to say, it's lasting pretty well. The vendor bought this vehicle from a lady owner who had the camper for 15 years, and in her care, the camper's seen substantial expenditure during this time. It's now been sold because the vendor needs a camper van with power steering. So this doesn't have power steering, as not many old Volkswagens do. None of them had it as standard, but some of them have it fitted. It's very cool. You could certainly improve this, without doubt. But you know what? It's all there ready for you to go. It's got the lovely pop top with the skylights. It's very usable. It's also what we call a walkthrough, so you can get from the front to the back, which is great when you're stopping at services or in a lay-by. You can just run through, get yourself a brew, have a little nap if you're tired. What would you pay for that? 12 to 14,000 pounds. There's a lot of work in this, and what I like about this is because it's in 12-year-old paint, where it would have bubbled or should have bubbled, were it rusty or poorly repaired, it would have. And what I don't see when I'm walking around this, really anywhere, is a lot of corrosion at all. There's a tiny bit of micro blistering there, all around the edges, all around the screen. I don't know who did the restoration, but they did a very good job, I have to say, because on 12-year-old paint, I'm seeing marvellously few bubbles and cauliflower. So I think that could be great. 12 to 14,000 pound well spent. It's a right-hand drive, which is great because a lot of nice rust-free buses have to be left-hand drive because they're imported. So if you are after one and you don't want to break the bank, it's a great place to be. Right, into the middle. When is a Ferrari not a Ferrari? When it's a Z3. So this is a tribute, and I use that word very loosely, to a Ferrari 275. But I think actually what it is kind of a homage to a lot of very cool cars of the 1960s, including, I would say, when you come around to the back, a little touch of Shelby Cobra in this. So it is a Ferrari evocation, but underneath this is a Z3. So you get the best of all worlds. You get German mechanicals and engineering and drivability and reliability in what I think is a very attractive body. If you forget the fact it's trying to be a Ferrari and just look at it for a 60s-esque sports coupe, look at this at the back. Just look at this cam tail, which is a bit Ferrari-y. It's also a bit Shelby Cobra-y. Just look at the haunches on this thing. It's got these fabulous Barani wires on it. And come and look back. Just look at the hips and the bum on that. Absolutely amazing. Now this is based on a 2.8 5-speed, 1997. Now the car it was based on, it was a Cat C insurance loss and was built into this car. So it's got a VIC pass on the HPI in 2012. It's obviously been re-inspected. Now it's beautifully made, it's been very well done. Whoever's put the panels on has done an extraordinary job. They fit beautifully. The only thing I would say is the paint. I'm giving the paint a 7.5. It's very, very good, but it's not perfect. The interior is magnificent. And they've backdated that, they've got the correct buckets in. It's just a bit of fun. I don't think you'll convince anybody that it is a Ferrari, but I think what you will do is have just ridiculous amounts of fun in a very reliable, very drivable package that just looks fabulous. So drive it and own it for that reason. What's it going to cost? Well, the good news is a lot less than a Ferrari and a lot less than a Shelby Cobra. 13 to 15,000. It sits perfectly and it's running on these older, as I say, wider Barani wheels with the sort of period correct tyres on it. So it looks great. It really does. I would like to own that very much indeed. I love kit cars and I love re-body conversions because they give you the best of all worlds. So say modern mechanicals, modern drive, fabulous 60s look. Again, you could do tiny bits of detailing and improvement on that for not a lot of time or money and have a spectacular car. Now, you know I love the Mini Mayfair, but my absolute favourite car in the entire sale, which will come as no surprise to anybody, is this. But a lot of interest in this, not least of all from me. But don't worry, I'm not going to bid. I am skint this month. Get your violin out, you know, tax bills, VAT quarters, all that kind of stuff. No money. But maybe you could be the person to avoid my disappointment and take this home. And please let me know if you do, because I think it's fabulous. 1988 Toyota Celica 2-litre GT convertible. And I was obsessed with these in period. They didn't sell very many of them. And they're very groovy because you get like a TVR, you get like a Targa top. So that comes to the middle there. And you can either run it with that in the upright position with the Targa panel out. You can run it as a full convertible, as you can see it here, or run it as a full hardtop coupe. And of course, because the windows go right down to the body line, it's a really nice looking thing. It's got the pop-up headlights, it's got the manual gearbox, it's got really nice condition seats actually, in very good condition. 4 former keepers, a brand new MOT, and it's only done 80,000 miles. It's got a new hood, recent engine work. It's got new water pump, new battery, new belts, new plugs, new filters, new Targa sections being upholstered as well. It's got a great service history, not full, but lots of stamps in the book, lots of service invoices. And I can tell you now, people, there's not much rust on this car at all. I was having a really good look. The bumper's a bit chippy, so I get that repainted. It's just starting to blemish a tiny bit. It's the very, very early stages of very surface rust, which I would get that done because she's a rare old bird. And we're back to our favourite price in the world, £4,500 to £5,500. You could be smoking around in that for summer. I struggle to think of anything cooler for the money. And you will never see another one. There's a show that Haggerty does called Radwood. It's all about celebrating 80s and 90s really groovy things, and this is very much in that camp. Arrive with it as a standard car, everyone will love you. Just a little suspension drop and some period Japanese aftermarket alloys. I think that would look possibly the greatest car in the entire world. And you could own that for £4,500 to £5,500. But look at the rear spoiler. Look at all these original period graphics. I mean, the condition of that thing, the originality of it is insane. I want it, but can't afford it. Right, 1978 Mercedes 350 SL. We always have an SL in at Manor Park, north or south, because to me, they are one of the nicest ways to cruise around in the summer. They are just a wonderful looking thing. They just get better and better looking with age. This is nice because it's very price rangy, £7,000 to £8,000, but there is a reason for that. Some of the paintwork is just starting to blister and bubble a little bit, so she's not immaculate. She's definitely got room to improve, but because of that, she's priced accordingly. So lovely gold finish. You can see again on the interior, little bits to do. So someone's obviously gone through the seat, and that's quite an achievement on a Mercedes because the fabric is so hard wearing. It's MOT exempt, it's got the factory hardtop. Where's the mileage? It doesn't tell me what the mileage is. Very presentable, few minor blemishes. It's got the elegant lines. So I think it's a nice potential car to enjoy as is and do a rolling restoration on and just add some value, or just leave slightly scruffy and have some fun. Like I've said to you, there's a lot to be said for just enjoying cars in their slightly careworn condition. I'm in my Jag today. I'm lucky enough to have 3 Jag XJs, 2 are Minters, 1 is slightly scruffy. And guess which one I drive all the time? The slightly scruffy one, because I don't care if it gets a scratch or a chip or a car park dent, it just goes along with all the others. And it's very enlightening, very liberating to just have a classic car that, not that you don't care about, but you don't mind if it's not perfect. Now, break out your jukebox. This is a bit of fun, isn't it? And again, when did you last see one of these? A Ford Zephyr in an utterly fabulous sort of transatlantic paint scheme. Isn't this great? This really is harking back to the end of the 50s, start of the 60s. True rock and roll era Ford, this. You've got your bench seat on the front. You've got your column shift. Just come and have a look in this. You can imagine going to the drive-thru. We didn't really have them in the UK. But this was us in the UK pretending to be American. Everything from the 7/8 Xerox shrunk styling of all the American Fords and the baby fins. Isn't it brilliant? It's a rare manual car. It's got, obviously, with overdrive. It's convertible. It's been partially recommissioned. It looks and runs and drives really, really well. It's been laid up for some time. It's had 4 recommissioned dynamo, a new regulator, a reconditioned starter, 4 new tyres. Brakes have been checked. It's got loads of old MOTs. Of course, it doesn't need one now. The bodywork's good. The chrome's good. You've got a few kind of cracks and blemishes. She's not Concours. You can see a few micro blisters. You can see she's just starting a little bit like in the front gutters here. If you look in there, just starting to go a tiny bit. It's all very, very early, very surface stuff. Nothing that will spoil your ownership of it. So what I'd do with this if I was you is just enjoy it every summer and run it from March till October. And then every winter, just do a little bit more going through it. But I just think this era, I've just bought a 56 Plymouth Belvedere, which is kind of like a full-size version of this really. I think this era of styling is just phenomenal. I just think 50 styling, it was so optimistic, it was post-war, there's a bit of money around. They were making stuff that looked fun, they had silly colours, brilliant interiors, there were jukeboxes on wheels. And I don't think we'll ever, again, have a period of motoring where it was so design and colour-led, and it was so much fun. To me, it's the best era of motoring in the 1950s. They really were having it away. And just look at things like the dashboard detail, look how the radios put into that beautiful ribbed aluminium, they're gorgeous. 16,500 to 18,000 pounds, that can be yours, that can be sitting on your driveway. Now again, other bargain periods of cars, pre-war cars at the moment, you would be mad not to buy one because they've never been cheaper. You never get more car for your money. 35 Morris 8 with the suicide doors. Again, perfection in patination, just look inside there. Imagine the smell. Exempt of everything, of course, pre-war classics, original condition, 90 years old, can you believe that? Perfect for shows, perfect for weekend drives, a little bit of motoring history. It's recently undergone a rebuild. It needed a camshaft replacement. It now runs perfectly. It's got hydraulic brakes that work, but not that well. So you might want to make those a bit better. It does have a good working handbrake. You might need that. Some old tax discs, a V5. What's great about these is not only does the bonnet open exactly as you'd want it to, these are what I'd call a proper Sunday morning tinker car. You do need to get yourself an old set of spanners because your modern ones won't fit. But there really isn't anything on this car that you can't take apart and put back together yourself. There's a good selection of parts for these old Morrises as well, and the Owners Club is absolutely wonderful. This is what I mean about older cars becoming absolutely bargainous. You could buy this car for somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5 grand. And what's interesting is, I don't know whether it's because of my age, I'm suddenly finding all this stuff, all this pre-war stuff, unfeasibly interesting, not least of all because it's cheaper. You do get so much more car for your money, and they're fixable and they're fun. And they're a different level of attraction, I think, to the later stuff. So buying one of these, you won't make any money, but you'll go to a lot of shows and people will love you and the Owners Club will embrace you, and just, it's a nice way to travel. Now this is fabulous. Austin A40 Sports Convertible. I can't even think of the last time I saw one of these. It was at a show about 10 years ago, and this is lovely condition. I mean, look at this. Look at the engine work that's been done on this. Look how clean and tidy it is. Look at the paint on the manifold, the cam cover. Powder blue, really nice condition. The roof is very nice, as you can see. Particular model is hard to find because it's convertible, and they hardly made any compared to the Somersets, but you do, I think, get a much nicer screen line on this. It's a really pretty car. It starts, it runs, got 4-speed column change on this. And look inside, look. Roof's lovely. I think this is a very recent or quite new roof. The interior is fabulous. It smells exactly as you want it to. And the powder blue paintwork is really good. There's not really much to fault this car on. Again, look at all the places where you don't get to see, because you can pull the roof up and look at what should be a horror show, and it just isn't. Work's been done to a lovely standard. Yeah, that roof is very recent, I would wager. Very rare car, very nice condition. Why I like these is because the body proportion to glass proportion is a lot of bodywork to glass. It looks almost like a factory hot rod roof chop, tons of body here, tiny amount of glass area. And when the roof's down, have a look at the pictures. They look stunning. Moving on. If the AC Cobra is too common for you and you want something that's got a bit more wallop and perhaps a bit more usable in the rain, Sunbeam Tiger. Now, any Tiger is good news. My dad had a fantastic road going one. This one, as you can see, has been messed with in all the best ways. Someone's going to get a bargain here, because if you want to go classic racing, this one has had all the work done. Can I open the bonnet for you? Let's have a look. Can I look in there? Look at that. Of course, what made the Tiger great was it was an Alpine with a massive V8 stuck up its hooter. This is, ladies and gentlemen, a championship winning car. If you want to go historic racing and you don't want to spend the tens of thousands of pounds you need to get a car prepped, is that like prepared? Prepped or prepared, then just buy this one, because it's there. You can see it's got the safety devices. The Tigger comes with it. I'm not sure how fireproof he is. You see you've got carbon fibre seats in there, which I cannot imagine were cheap items. This is a 1965, a championship winning car. It's won 2005 Class A joint champion, Sunbeam third in the championship, Sunbeam Intermark champion. It's basically throughout the 2000s, this was racking up the silverware, and I'd imagine it's eligible still for a lot of things. I don't know what the date on the seat or the harnesses is. You would have to check that yourself, because obviously on these things, they're lifed. So things like extinguishers, belts and seats are all lifed. It would make the most astonishing track day car, I would imagine. And of course, it's road legal and road registered. So you can either go and tear up the track, say please do check the lifing on the belts. I don't know what the date is, I don't know if we put that on there for you. But a impressive sheet of winds on this, and everything you want's there, look, even from the tow eye, all the safety gear, oil extinguishers and cut-offs. Everything's done. It's got the hard top, it's got the window, so it's like a Cobra that's much more usable, probably just as fast, and I would argue just a bit cooler, a bit less try-hard than a Cobra, isn't it? The fact you've got that genuine competition history, yes, if I fitted in it, I would like that very much indeed. Now onto a car that I think I might have sold, this actual car. Because I sold an identical car to this. This is a 91 in cherry red, 3-speed auto with anniversary alloys, which there can't be many of those made. And I did sell the spit of this car many, many years ago, sometime in the late 90s. I wonder if it is the same one. I really do. Interesting car, this. It's a 91 style convertible, 114,000 on the odometer, which is easily half of what a good maintained Saab would do. I think you could polish a lot of love into this. The paint is very good, but it's just a tiny bit flat. So I think a couple of Sundays with a orbital polisher or book it into your local detailer, you could make this look very shiny. The roof is very good. I would wager looking at the edge trim, it's the original roof. And because of that, it's just started to go where they all go. Just here, there's a little mark in there. It's been owned by the last keeper for 27 years. Now the 3-speed auto, I'll be honest with you, because it's not what you'd imagine from a performance car. Being a 900i, they are not fast. And if you're doing the motorway run, when it's in third gear, it's doing quite a lot of revs, so they do suck a bit of fuel. But for cruising around with the roof down looking absolutely epic, this is the one. Now, it was a recent bill for £1,500, which was to rectify a non-start and remove and refit the interior trim and carpets for wiring and ABS repairs. There's a tear in the roof there, which you can get repaired. They can either stitch it or put a panel in, which I've seen done. And the rest of the roof's in really good nick. And also, if you want to, these edge trims, a really good trimmer can actually do those in situ. They don't necessarily have to take the roof off to do it. I've seen that done. 2 keys, it's straight, it's original, there's a lot to love for it. There's hardly any corrosion on it I can see at all. You know what it really needs? Just a really good clean and detail. I think you can make an exceptionally nice car out of this. And being the 3-speed auto will make it a little bit cheaper. But I think, you know, interesting, we talk about this a lot. Automatic classics, I think, are the potential investment of the future. If you pull the DVLA data, which I'm sad enough to do every year, less and less people have a manual license. In fact, this year and last year were the first 2 years that more people had an automatic only license than had a manual license, because the next generation, particularly the kids, they don't feel like they need a manual license because they're all going to drive EVs to start with. But when they turn into classic car enthusiasts, all they will be eligible to drive are automatic. So I think we will see a resurgence in modern classics with auto gearboxes because more people can drive them. It's a bigger market. 2001, this one, we've got 2 for you here. Jaguar XK8, and this is on the baby wheels, which I love. Just look at the difference. This is on the little tiny wheel with a massive tall tyre, which is so retro looking, and also, of course, they drive beautifully on those. 5.5 to 6.5, 104,000 miles, fantastic colour this one as well. And these, I think, are a bit of a bargain jag at the moment. They're not massive amounts of money. They look really good. They're quite retro, kind of almost like the modern E-Type, aren't they? But you can use them all the time. You can actually have this as your daily driver if you were so inclined. Annual servicing and maintenance on this, and it's the V8, of course. And look at the condition of the leather. It is really very nice. Pacific blue with ivory leather. These were quite quick, you know, 0 to 60 in 6.4 seconds. 17-inch alloys, which I've already said I love. Electric seats, electric steering column. Now, since 2018, it's been looked after by a company called XJ Motor Services, who've got lots of bills and invoices and receipts. It's obviously had an easy life. Recent work includes rear dampers in 22. Cam belts were done by Jaguar in 2011. It looks like it's been careful. You have to watch for these. A good one will be a wonderful thing. So look for one with plenty of history and lots of bills. One that's been skimped on can be a headache. I would wager this is in the former category. This is one that's had the love, had the money spent, and could give you years of faithful service. But despite that, 5.5 to 6.5 thousand pounds. This one's a little bit cheaper. It's got some aftermarket alloys on, which I don't dislike. The purists will go for the factory wheel. That still works. I think it looks very good. If you look as well, the leather, although it's good, the driver's seat probably wants repainting and recolonizing. And again, if you look at the airbag module as well. Now, a good trim specialist, if you look on my YouTube channel, I can show you how that's done. There's a YouTube video where I've just had that done on my Range Rover actually, and you'd be amazed how that will come back and how good that will look. It's low mileage, this one. 86,000 miles, which is supported by the MOT. 4 former keepers, well maintained and documented. It's just done a tour of France without issue, and the convertible roof works really well. So we've got 2 blues, one pretty much factory standard. This has got a few little light mods like the wheels. This one needs a little bit more love, but because of that, it's 4,500 to 5,500, our favourite price range. It's had some paint on the back as well, and this boot is dimpling a little bit. So I would say that's either prep or micro blistering has caused that. So I would argue that's the tidy one and it's priced accordingly. This is the one you can get for a bit more of a bargain and you can add value to. So get your trim repair guy on that, get your boot repainted, and maybe find a set of good second-hand alloys and put it back to factory standard if that's not your thing. There's a little bit of value to add. Now this is pretty, isn't it? TTRS. These are astonishingly quick. If you're not familiar with this model, and I see as well, this is a manual. Do you know what? People say, what's a good modern classic to buy and tuck away? I would say that's it, you know. TTRS manual, what a car. Astonishingly fast, like 911 levels of quickness. And quite a rare old bus, 114,000 miles, which is going to make it very price rangey, 11.5 to 13 grand. 6-speed manual, drives like new, the guys say they've driven it. MOT till January 26, got the book pack, it's been looked after with a full Audi service history for new, but the vendor has lost the book. Now, I would imagine that's provenanceable, but please bid on the fact we don't have the book with us at the moment. The bodywork's good, the paint works good, the interior is very nice. It's got the upgraded seats. These are worth a fortune. If you look on eBay and see what these go for out of the car, that's the seat upgrade. They were a lot of money. Now, that seat option would have been 3 grand when it was new, believe it or not. A few bits to do. It's tidy, it's straight, it's not perfect. Things like the alloys want refurbing. There's a little bit of value you can polish back into the paint. Let's have a look at what the leather's wearing like. The leather's wearing well, actually. It's a higher mileage car, and I say do bear in mind that history. The car certainly looks and feels like it's been cared for, but obviously the history, we do need to provenance that perfectly for you to bid in confidence. You can also do quite a lot by doing some research. I often buy cars less expensively if the history is missing, and then you can do the legwork and fill that in, because it's quite easy with all the computer records, even under GDPR, to speak to dealers, do some background digging and fill in the gaps for yourself, and often value can be added that way too. But that's a very nice car, and I do think a manual TTRS is very much a future classic, without doubt. Right, moving on, for our last two, we always try and get you a budget roadster for the summer. We always park it here for some reason as well. This I think is fabulous, this little SLK compressor. Very pretty car, these, again, particularly on the smaller wheels. I think they look really good. This is a 2003. It's a no reserve car with 58,000 miles, a fresh MOT, loads of history, and also loads of bills. So it's azurite blue, that's the colour. After many happy years of motoring, the owners have decided their SLK was in need of some TLC. So in 2019, the car was sent to restoration specialists, where all the rust was done, the front rusting panels, the usual spots on the rear panels, and this car was fully repainted in 2019, it's only 6 years ago, which explains why in all the places where this is normally rotten, this one isn't. So the Mercedes-Benz A service in March, new Continental tyres, again, always a good sign when people put proper tyres on an inexpensive car, it means that they care. It failed its MOT, and you can see why online. So many would have done the bare minimum of work to get the car, but our vendor, it went back to classics 1963 and all of the work was done. So I'm getting the impression on this car that despite the fact it's not worth an enormous amount of money, it's been owned by a vendor who really does care. I'm just looking around the car. So when there was rust, they've had it fully repaired and repainted. When it needed tyres, they've put Continentals on. When it's had tiny advisories on an MOT, they sent it back to a restoration specialist. Not your normal, just hope to keep it together. It really is a car that's been enjoying some significant expenditure. So if you do want one, come and pull the bills on this. Great colour, wonderful history, fabulous amounts of money to spend, and it's no reserve, so you get to choose the price. I like that a lot, actually. I think that's a fantastic little price range roadster for you to enjoy summer. Now this is super cute, isn't it? Little Triumph Herald, everything I loved about the coupe before, but this is of course the Estate, which is even more practical, and I think even more handsome. I think the body line of the Estate, as with many Estates, is the best looking of all of them. It's got the beautiful little interior, if you want to come and have a look inside again. 1965 this one, so everything exempt. Again, it just really looks like it's been loved and looked after. Super practical little classic, not fast. Indicated 52,000 miles, which I would wager might even be correct. A lot about this car doesn't look like it's had a lot of hard knocks. Recently been commissioned, new battery, all brake wheel cylinders, new clutch master and slave, new carpets. It's driving really well. In fact, it was driven here. Loads of paperwork, including the original logbook on this. Loads of old MOTs. And just a nice solid bodywork. All of the edges and gutters look really good. You can see it's just a little bit starting to go in a couple of places, but we are talking minuscule, little tiny blebs, many of which you can probably get out with just a cutting polish, to be fair. But that's a super straight level car. A couple of tiny little dents in the bonnet. But it just hangs together. I love the look of it. And it's got a National Trust sticker and English Heritage sticker in the back, which, perfection. Leave those in if you get it. It's just pretty, it's dead straight. It's a really nice thing. £4,500 to £5,500, the price of the sale. And it's great, isn't it? What's nice about these is just the fact you can get so much in them. As long as you're not in a rush to get to the show, it's the perfect way to get there. And finally, how could I not leave you with something absolutely ridiculous to finish on? This looks, doesn't it, an awful lot like a Lamborghini Countach. It isn't, but it's quite a convincing replica. I have to say, this is an Aprox ABS Scorpio 5.7 litre manual replica. And what's really interesting about this, somebody has spent an awful lot of time and money building this car with a very high quality kit, which as you can see is quite convincing. It's got all the Evolution Aero stuff on it, which you could take off if you don't like the Evolution kit. I love it, it's my favourite of all the Countachs, but not everybody does. But interesting car this, because it's got a brand new gearbox, because it was built, some of it by the factory, a lot of the initial construction work was done by the manufacturer. Brand new gearbox, very nice reconditioned V8 in here. And as you can see, the interior's been done, including with the correct raid wheel and a very good replica seat, to a standard that is really spectacular. But then two things slightly bizarre. The paintwork does not reflect the quality of the build. So I would probably say, if you buy this car, because you've got the capability to make, I would say a 70, 80 grand car here, because of what it is, and the fact that real ones are now 750 to £1 million. Look at the paint. You can see it's got either silicone contamination and or micro blistering on literally every panel. And you can see as well where they've put some paint on, it's very, very thin. So if you look on the, where they've put the candy over the silver, there's not enough candy on it. So I would say bank on painting this car again. And realistically, as nice as the car is, it's still going to cost you probably £5 grand to paint it properly. It's worth it, it really is. Also, the car is not IVA or registered, so you will need to get some time, some money to put it through IVA. The car is very, very good. It does all the things you want it to do, but having said that, you still need to put it through the test, and you may need to make some small changes to do that. So let's bank on 2 or 3 grand to get it through an IVA, 5 grand to paint it, but you could buy it for somewhere between 25 and 35. And this, I think, in perfect condition with great paint is probably, as I say, the thick end of 70, 80 grand, just because it's a tenth of what a real one would be. And it's a very convincing replica with a brilliant interior. And if you look at the wheels, apart from the little gold nuts, which you can swap those, very convincing, really nice looking thing, which with a little bit of time and effort could be superb. And you can see a crack on the glass there, which also wants replacing. So there you go, something for everybody in that sale. No matter what your budget, no matter what your aspiration, there's a car or a scooter in there for you. You need to register to bid. That's the main thing, whether you're buying online or you're buying in the room. And don't forget, the sale starts at 9 o'clock and the auction starts at 1 o'clock on Saturday, whether you're online or here. Do come and see us. If you're somewhere near, it's much more fun if you're in the room. But either way, do register to bid on the day. Do register your interest. And also, if you want a commission bid, if you can't bid on the day, you can always call us, tell us what you want to bid up to, and we will bid on your behalf for the car or bike that you fancy. But either way, do like and subscribe, ring that bell, and I'll see you next time for more fun.